What's up, guys, and welcome to the vlog. Today I'm a little strapped for time, and I know I've said this in past vlogs. I've mentioned how I love movies and stuff, and I've mentioned that I worked on a movie that was kind of cursed, and so I thought today I would tell you a little bit about that. So a little bit of a backstory. Like I said, I've always loved movies. I've been writing screenplays since I was in middle school. I've wrote them my entire life. I love storytelling. I may not be great at it, but I do love to do it. And when I worked at GameStop, there was a guy that I knew who would come in very, very regularly. His name was Harvey Cruz. And I would always talk movies and stuff about or with him. And so anyway, we got on the subject one day about making our own movies and stuff, and Harvey told me that he had a screenplay, and it was a horror film. And if you've ever looked into doing film or anything like that, horror movies are the cheapest budgeted films to make. You can make horror movies for basically virtually nothing. I think the budget that I worked on the movie I worked on, Night of the Were-Rooster, I think that movie was maybe, it was super low budget. There wasn't hardly any money at all. It was all just kind of donations and for props and stuff like that. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked. So me and Harvey were discussing stuff, and he was like, oh, I need a church location, and I need this, and I can't seem to get anybody down. And I was like, hey man, I've got, my uncle's a pastor, I could probably get a church. And he was like, oh, okay. And then we also needed some fangs. It was a vampire film. And I was like, well, my mom works at a dentist office. Like, I could probably get some cheap, like, fangs. And, like, we actually had the actor go and get fitted for him and stuff like that, and got him for a super good deal from where my mom worked there. And so we got into this project and we started filming, and it just seems like right from the get-go, stuff just started not really working out. And before I continue, I just want to just address the fact that a lot of this stuff could be circumstantial, and I'm sure some people will believe it's circumstantial, but there's a lot of stuff that just happened in this movie, and it was only when we filmed that this stuff happened. So right out of the gate, now this is not really cursed, but right out of the gate, when we started filming, we filmed the first scene, and that night my lens popped out of my glasses while I was driving down the road. And without my glasses, I'm literally blind. On my license, it's marked, like, if I don't have glasses on, like, I'm not legally allowed to drive. Like, I'm basically blind without my glasses. So I'm not really marking that one up to a curse, but that's definitely a little strange. Now, we would film off and on periodically, and then we had one night, a guy showed up and he got his girlfriend to do the makeup, and I think that night that guy's uncle had passed away, and like just out of nowhere, it was just out of the ordinary, just completely out of the blue, his uncle passed away. And so that was kind of like, all right, it's getting a little weird. So then we go on and we actually end up releasing a trailer for it, and my uncle, I don't know how, this is one of those things, like, the overseer of the state's church, I think it was an overseer, maybe, I don't remember what it was somebody within the organization, saw the trailer, somehow recognized his church, and basically, I think, maybe threatened his preaching license if it wasn't pulled and we couldn't use the footage and stuff like that. And I don't know if that's necessarily a curse either, but it's just kind of like, how in the world did you stumble across that? And then, I don't know, it's all, again, perhaps circumstantial, but that was just another setback on the film. So we carry on. We actually find a new setting to do some stuff. We actually rewrote the opening to where it didn't have to be filmed in a church. We actually did some cool, like, super, just weird props where I took a TV box, we cut a window out, put some mesh up, we made like a confessional. We actually shot it all in my living room at the time, the opening scene. And so the main guy, which is my buddy Evan, who you've seen in some of my videos before, he wasn't the main guy, but he was playing a priest in the movie. And after he shot one of his scenes, that night, he had an uncle that died. So there's already a couple of people who have died, and it's only on nights when this movie is filmed. And so me and Harvey start talking, and it's like, man, all right, the first time is kind of weird, but now it's just getting really weird. And it's like every time this movie is brought up, something bad happens. So it goes on for a little bit, and again, with us all working jobs and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to just get together and film sometimes. You've got to make stuff happen. You've got to sacrifice things, and you only get to film maybe once a week or something like that, if that. And so the next time that we met up, Harvey was directing a scene, and his wife got a call. Now, I'm gonna have to double check with Harvey, but I'm pretty sure this is what happened. And his wife called. She was rushed to the hospital. That part's 100% true. I need to ask him for what I think, if I'm not mistaken, she is super allergic to bees, and a bee had gotten into their house and stung her, and she was rushed to the hospital because of an allergic reaction to a bee sting. And I think after that, Harvey was like, all right, dude, I'm out. I can't, like, too much stuff is happening. It's starting to affect my family, and I've got to stop. And actually, rewind, there was another scene we were filming, and this was between, it was a guy and a girl, and this was like right towards the beginning of the movie. And Harvey's wife's, it was a family member, it was like a first cousin, that night was in a car accident. So then, obviously with that, and then Harvey's wife having the reaction to the bees, that's why he was like, all right, dude, I've got to stop. This is starting to hit me personally. I can't do it anymore. If you want to take over, that's fine, whatever. So ultimately, I did not take over because it's not my right, and it's not my position to take over somebody's film that they wrote and they have a passion behind. So we dropped it for a long time, just fully dropped it, and we were like, all right, maybe one day we'll revisit this, but right now is definitely not the time. So from there, many months, possibly a year went by. Also, that movie subsequently is the movie that I met Lance on, who got me to work on that other film. So a lot of good stuff did come out of this film as well. But anyway, so we were discussing something a little later on, and Harvey was like, you know, I've been thinking about dusting that script off, and you know, maybe we can get something done and stuff. And I was like, all right. And I was like, has anything bad happened lately? And he was like, no, everything's been cool with me. And I was like, me too, man. And so, come to find out, right after we had mentioned that film, I don't remember if it was that day or that week, the guy who was playing the main actor, his name was Brandon, his brother that week got diagnosed, after we had mentioned this, got diagnosed with a brain tumor. And so, from there, obviously, we were like, I don't know if we should, is it even right to film this? Maybe we could cast some more. So a little bit of time went past, and Harvey was like, I think Brandon's brother's fine, he's doing okay. Maybe we can look back into this. And then Harvey's mom, again, right after we started talking about it again, had a heart attack, and that just, boom, that stopped it right there. We were both just like, nah, dude, this is out. I'm not, like, I can't touch this anymore. Like, this, there's something not good happening with this movie. And basically ever since then, we've just kept a lid on it, haven't really done anything. We did have an awesome trailer shot. It was super cool. I loved the trailer, and we had some stuff set up, man. We had some props, and we did a death scene, tons of blood and stuff like that, and we had a really good time shooting it. It just didn't make sense to continue with all the bad stuff happening. And again, I know people can say it's all circumstantial, but it started to become too circumstantial, and neither one of us were comfortable being around it or even talking about it. Now, with that being said, that does not mean that me and Harvey, as quote-unquote business partners, are done. If I do shoot a movie myself, like if it's a movie that I make, I absolutely want Harvey to be part of it, because Harvey, see, I'm more of a writer and he is more of a director. He has a vision for stuff. Me, I can put stuff on paper, I can write dialogue fantastically, not tooting my own horn or anything. I mean, you're your own worst critic, but just from what strangers on the internet have told me, who usually just troll you even if they like your stuff. But anyway, so I definitely want him to be part of something that I do, and obviously on this next film project that I work on, I'm going to try to get him involved. But as far as that movie, which was called, I don't even know if I want to speak its name, it's kind of unspeakable. I'm going to say it this one time. If anything bad happens this week, I'll let you guys know. But it was called Run Like Hell is what it was called. And I loved the idea, but just so many bad things happened. We just ultimately decided, let's just stop it, kill it, never mention it again, and move on with our lives. And so that's basically it. The movie's never really been discussed. I've told Harvey that I would like to talk about it on a vlog at some point. And he thought it would be a cool idea to have people know about it. And who knows, man? I've talked to him even about maybe doing a mockumentary but a documentary, but there's not really a whole lot of stuff to go on, but about the events that happened and just kind of talk about it for like maybe a YouTube release or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Harvey, because I'll tweet this to him and stuff like that. And Harvey's a guy I've been meaning to get up with lately, but man, life gets in the way of stuff, and next thing you know, you're 30 years old basically, and it's just like, what is happening? So Harvey is one of my closest friends. I haven't seen him in a long time, but we'll tweet each other from time to time. Had a lot of good times. He's one of my favorite people I met at GameStop. There's a lot of people that I really, really liked, obviously. I'm not saying anything like that, but Harvey, I spent a lot of time at his house, played games, talked about stuff. We would always talk movies, talk making movies. We shared the same passion, and once Tracy gets settled, I actually talked to him. I'm going to try to go over to his house, or just us get together, hang out, talk about some stuff, perhaps maybe put into motion some sort of new film of sorts. We can do a horror film, I don't know. So, but I wanted to share that with you guys today, because it's a big part of my life. I spent a lot of time on it. Like I said, that we did the whole casting call thing, tried to get sponsors and all this stuff, and it was a learning experience and all that, and I'm happy that I went through it. I'm sad that a lot of the bad stuff happened, though, and that's ultimately the bad thing. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed that story. I hope I didn't ramble too much, but I hope you enjoyed it.